Santa Barbara is considering stronger tenant protections after a spike in evictions statewide. I'm Juliette Lamar, your community reporter in Santa Barbara at City Hall, speaking with advocates about what protections are needed right now. A statewide trend, nicknamed renovictions, is a loophole that landlords are using to evict tenants or pressure them to leave through harassment in order to remodel a property with the intent of renting it out at a higher price.
What we're seeing week after week is tenants that are getting the threat of eviction or the promise of a renovation as an excuse to actually push the tenant out so that then you can maybe double the rent.
These types of evictions are affecting people like Zoila Cabrera, who's lived in Santa Barbara for 32 years and says she's been evicted 4 times without cause.
Bueno, se siente uno frustrado, que por qué me pasó esto, porque ellos no hablan, ¿verdad?, con buena fe.
The city of Santa Barbara has taken steps to strengthen tenant protections over the last 3 years, but advocates say these protections need additional strengthening.
I think protections against harassment, especially when someone's trying to get something fixed, is super important.
On the flip side, landlord Nick Gonzalez says the ordinance unfairly affects smaller rental property operators, stressing that renovation cost recovery must happen for people like him to remain in business.
It's absolutely necessary to recover some of that expense. There's this myth that everybody that provides housing is just loaded with money.
Advocate Stanley Zenkoff argues that the new ordinance fairly covers landlords' expenses.
Right now, you can raise the rent 5% plus CPI, the cost of living, every single year. That's an exponential curve. Without renovations, with this proposed ordinance, you're actually able to raise the rent even more if there's significant renovations.
On Tuesday, the Ordinance Committee unanimously voted to send an updated draft ordinance focused on the right of first refusal for tenants, which allows displaced renters to return with no more than a 10% rent increase.
It actually sets a more level playing field and actually maybe takes us a little bit closer to like good quality housing that actually works for everybody.
The new ordinance also calls for landlords to be prohibited from any kind of harassment. The draft will go before the City Council early next year. I'm Juliette Lamar, KSBY News.